a read though on what we've been watching there on Wall Street and some of the key themes. Peter McGuire joins us in the studio from XM. Peter, pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Ingrid. Good morning, Andrew.
So we're still seeing gains across equities, but certainly we've been hearing from Trump over the weekend yet again, not conceding and still sort of drumming up, I guess, this idea of a rigged election.
Sure.
How's that impacting things?
Well, the markets aren't open yet, and it's interesting. We're up. We've certainly bid up Friday night very, very strongly, Dow, S&P and NASDAQ. So they had a very strong move to the upside, between 1 and 1.5%. So I think let's see if that momentum continues. As far as the election and Trump, I saw something earlier this morning with Rudy Giuliani and his comments. So it's a work in progress, I'd say.
But politically, politically though, do you think there is a risk that
Yes,
they
absolutely.
can do something that would move markets?
Absolutely, I think there would.
Like what?
Well, it goes to the courts, and it's a long, drawn-out process. And do we have an answer by Christmas? If it's no answer by Christmas, then does it drag on into January? What impact? We've got coronavirus. We've got a number of global themes that I think play into that also.
Yeah.
So it's a very much an uneasiness heading into from a risk perspective, and that would be a trader's delight if you're looking at shorting a market.
How much does, I guess, a vaccine sort of act as a bit of a call option on the market, or at least?
Well, I did a show last week with a very bright guy out of the Middle East, and he said it needs to be held at minus 70 degrees. You're talking about these vaccines. So how are they administered? How long does it take to actually work through society? And I questioned a couple of young people over the weekend in the mid-20s, would you be a recipient to a vaccine? Highly educated young ladies? No. So that seems to be a common thread also. Is everyone going to say, yes, I'm going to stamp and I'm going to take it, or is it, no, I'm not going to take it? So there are a number of issues here that need to be worked through, and I don't think it's easy to look at these big headlines and say, oh yeah, we've got a vaccine. Try and get it into everyone's arm. I'm a prime candidate at my age, and I would certainly say, yes, I'd like to have it. But does everyone have it?
Yeah, did you see those comments over the weekend from the guy behind Pfizer, behind the trials and so on, who was saying this time next year things will be back to normal? That's how confident he is
12 months.
Once they roll it out.
Sure. Well, we have 7.5 billion people, and then do we open our doors? I mean, we're a different process here completely to, say, Indonesia, or say, let's look at anywhere in Asia, or certainly to the Middle East or India. And do we open our doors to international students, to people that say, yeah, come on in? And do we have a rerun? So, yeah, let's just wait and see.
There's a lot of questions, as you said, about how the vaccine plays out. I mean, whether you need it on your passport to travel and, to let people in the borders, and whether you need it to go into hospital or, whatever sort of scenarios might play out.
We've got so many anti-vaxxers in this state and in this country. So do they all of a sudden say, yep, what happens to new children that are born in the, say at Randwick Children's Hospital?
Yeah.
Do they get it automatically? Do mothers say, no, I don't want it?
There's a lot of questions and not many answers at this point. Is what I think the summary of this.
Might be even more resistance in the States at this point.
You bet.
Peter, what are you looking at this week? Let's start locally as far as data is concerned.
Well, a slew of data, and we've got those numbers coming out as far as Aussie, and you're looking at the minutes. I heard you guys beforehand, as far as what's going on with RBA, where does that play? As far as the Aussie dollar, I think it'll hold this sort of number at that 72 odd. But let's just see where the US dollar plays and whether that takes further softness, which in turn could push us up a little bit further. We're a proxy for China, and that Chinese economy is certainly rebounding far quicker than nearly anywhere else in the world. So that's a good sign for us in some ways.
Okay, so what are you watching as a key catalyst going forward? Because we were all talking stimulus, the next big stimulus payment, the government stimulus in the US. That looks to be delayed now.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure when that will actually take place.
Well, they need about $2 trillion, and they were talking that there was something there about a $600 billion number, so it's well short. So again, is this going to be contested? How does that impact as far as Main Street? I think the overall theme at the moment is, are we fully priced and are we at all-time highs for the year? And if you're looking at the recovery, maybe we're exhausted, or maybe we've got another 5 to 10% to go. Who knows? But time will certainly tell us in another month and a half.
Okay, you referenced China a bit earlier there as far as being the proxy of Australia's, as far as Australia is concerned.
Or our Aussie dollar.
Sorry, yes. So how's China looking? Because we've got a bit of data out.
Tuesday, yeah. They've got some today retail sales, industrial output and fixed assets. So it's having a much stronger recovery than, say, US retail sales or even ours. So let's just, we'll gather the information after those numbers. Let's look at what happens with the Chinese market today, that Asia trade. We're bid up, and it could, that could wash across into China, and certainly, as the day plays out, into Eurozone and then into US. So that feel good might be carried forward, or it could be a little bit of a hiccup week and momentum dissipates.
Yep.
So is Europe in your sights? I mean, I saw Boris Johnson's been put back in the UK, been put back into isolation now for a couple of weeks, an important time for the UK.
Well, it worries anyone, I think, even more than that, Ingrid. The man suffered went to intensive care for 3 days. He's already had coronavirus and he survived. He said it was very much touch and go. What happens now if you get it again? Is that how it works? Like, I mean, you're over it 1 minute, and then 4 months later or 5 months later you get another go at it.
Which is a big question as far as the vaccine is concerned as well.
Exactly. Or if it mutates, and then is everyone's vaccine the same? So I just hope that we don't have a Spanish 1918, which took many, many, many years to really work through society. And let's hope that we're not in that sort of mindset.
But do you feel as though there's almost an acceptance that things are getting worse, they will get worse through the northern winter?
Yep.
That markets have accepted that?
I think so. Well, I think they've also accepted that is Biden in, and that feel good there. So that's more or less been a sugar hit to the markets. And that was my point, Andrew. Are we fully priced for the year? Or is there more momentum?
Yeah.
That just seems to be that we get numbers every couple of days as far as that slew of data. And do we really take on board, or is it just bid up? That are the retail traders just saying, well, this is just going to last forever, and just keep on buying stocks?
Yeah, it's certainly, there's the volatility, no doubt, will continue in some way, shape, or form.
Either it'll go up or it'll either go down, Ingrid.
Right, well, that's a good way to put it. Peter McGuire, pleasure having you on the program as always.
Good to see you, Ingrid. Bye, Andrew.